Hello, my name is Mayuri and my roll number is 2501434. Currently, I am pursuing MBA from IIM Tiruchirappalli, and today I'll be talking about anatomy of systematic shock, where we'll try to understand India's banking NPA crisis, what caused it, how it affected the economy, and what policy actions were taken. Think of it not just like a banking issue, but as something that impacted the entire economy, like a shock that spreads throughout the system. Now, let us start with the basics. An NPA or non performing asset is simply a loan that has not been paid for more than 90 days. Up to 90 days, everything is considered normal, but a moment it crosses 90, it's officially classified as NPA. This is important because once a loan becomes an NPA, it signals a serious risk. And when many such loans pile up, it creates stress across the entire banking system. Now, so how did this crisis begin? There were three main factors coming in together. First, there was an aggressive lending between 2004 and 2011, especially for infrastructure and corporate projects. The second is after the 2008 global crisis, economic growth slowed down. And third is there were delays in projects and policy bottlenecks. All these factors collided, and this over leveraged collision created a perfect condition for the NPA crisis. Now, by 2018, the crisis reached its peak. Gross NPA crossed 10%, which is very high. Public sector banks were hit the hardest. They absorbed most of the bad loans, while private and foreign banks were relatively safer. What started as a localized issue turned into a major threat in the entire financial system. Now let us see how this spread into the economy. High NPAs weakens the bank. Weak banks reduce lending, and this causes credit slowdown. Less credit means less investment by companies, and that leads to lower GDP growth. And slower growth causes even more loan defaults. So it becomes a vicious cycle, and the government also has to step in with recapitalization, which creates a burden. Now we'll see that this brings us to a core problem, the twin balance sheet issue. On one side, corporations were over leveraged, meaning they had too much debt. On the other side, banks were undercapitalized and became risk averse. So companies could not repay loan, and banks did not want to lend more. To fix this corporate insolvency, the bank recapitalized became necessary. The government responded in three phases. Now, the phase one is identification. Stricter RBI norms and asset quality review expose hidden NPAs. Phase two, that is resolution. The insolvency and bankruptcy code help resolve bank loans legally. And phase three is stabilization. Banks were recapitalized to restore their lending ability. So that the idea was identify the problem, clean it up, and then rebuild the system. Now, however, this recovery is not perfect. There are still some challenges. Legal delays slowed resolution, and recovery rates from bad assets were often lower than expected, and the same sectors still remain under stress. So, even after reforms and the system does not instantly recover, it takes time. To conclude, a strong economy depends on a strong bank, but strong bank also depends on healthy economy. So they are deeply connected. Now, we cannot achieve economic growth without cleaning up the bad loans first. And going forward, better risk assessment and continuous policy reforms are essential to prevent such crisis again. Thank you.